Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to Snetterton for the Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship. Delighted that we're able to live stream round 7 that's coming up very shortly. And tomorrow we'll see round 8 and round 9 of the 2021 Championship. This championship which can trace its roots back many a year indeed. And even some of the names on the grid go back to those very early days of Clubmans racing in the UK. Ideal conditions for them over the course of Snetterton, and it's be a 15-minute race that we'll see coming up for what is a fairly new championship to the Motorsport Vision, the MSVR fold, and we are delighted that they are with us here in, as we say, warm conditions. It was awful at Snetterton yesterday afternoon. The rain came in and it stayed with us until the early hours of this morning, and stark contrast today, it feels more like summer, whereas yesterday, just 24 hours ago, it was rather autumnal, one could almost argue. So the cars are lining up on the grid, ready for round 7 of the championship, and we will see that number 71 car of Cody Tree lining up on pole position. Just to guide you through the classes that we will see out there, well, there are different classes, and that's largely based on the engines that the cars run. So the cars that run in class CSP1, so Clubman Sports Prototype 1, are fitted with 2-litre production engines or 1600cc motorcycle engines, but those motorcycle engines can't produce any more than 200 brake horsepower. Then we see cars that run in class CSP2. They are cars fitted with standard MG 1600cc Rover K-Series engines. They produce around about 125 brake horsepower, fixed wiring looms, sealed engines on those to try and keep everything equal. And then we've got the classic Clubmans classes in reality, which are for the pre-81 chassis, which are pre-81 chassis either fitted with the 1700cc Ford Crossflow engine, full race engines in those, or if they run in the subcategory of the classic Clubmans Class B, then it's still a pre-81 chassis, but they run the 1600cc Ford Crossflow racing engine, so in other words a true Formula Ford engines. The way you can tell them apart in reality is the CSP1 cars, it's a white number background with a white circle in the CSP logo. If it's a CSP2 car, again it's a white number, but it's a red little circle in the CSP2 logo. And as for the classic Clubmans cars, well, if it's running in the Class A of the classic Clubmans, then it's got a red circle in the CSA logo, and if it's a Class B car, it will have a yellow background. We've only got, I think, 4 of those on the grid. So as they head off on their formation lap, we caught up with some of the drivers earlier on this morning.
Yes, it's evolved since I started in 1975. We joined the Clubmans crowd in '79 and raced in the B class then. There were two classes. One were organised by the BRDC, one by the BARC. And Clubmans had been with BARC for something like 50 years by the time our relationship finished, and we joined with MSVR, which has been one of the best decisions I think that the club has made. They treat us ever so well, and we've got very large grids, so people are coming back to the Formula. The Formula now is in 2 classes in the original Clubman style. One with a 200 horsepower engine, the other with the road-going K-Series engine, which we changed to with support from Rover in 1995. And those engines have been absolutely reliable ever since then. The 200 horsepower class includes Ford engines as well as the Rover engine uprated to 200 horsepower. That class is very, very competitive. We've got some very fast young drivers coming in. We've also got some old hands like myself with Pete Richings and a few of the others. And it's just a wonderful formula. The cars are superb to drive. They're easy to maintain. They're actually very cheap to purchase, which is a bit negative, but everything basically is absolutely great. It's a good community. Everybody pulls into each other. There's quite a good social life when we're at the circuits. If anybody breaks down or has an accident, then we all chip in to try and make sure we get all the cars on the grid, because that's what we're here for. We're here for racing, not just driving around.
Great to hear from Barry Webb, one of the stalwarts of the club and a multiple champion in Clubmans over the years. Just guide you through the grid then as they're on their formation lap. Car number 71, Cody Tree in the Phantom, will start from pole position, and alongside is number 7, which is Steve Dickens. Row 2 of the grid is number 50, Clive Wood, who was the champion in CSP class last year. Alongside him is car number 68, which is Jared Lester. Row 3 of the grid sees number 47, Peter Richings, long-time Clubmans racer, again started way back in the 70s, alongside number 17, which is Alan Cook. And row 4 of the grid is 67, Mike Yules, and 14, which is David Whale. Row 5 sees number 84, Michelle Haywood, line up alongside car number 20, which is Mathieu Gauthier Thornton. And row 6 is number 65, Ian Crombie, lining up alongside 76, which is Morris Hart. Row 7 is number 4, Steve Chaplin, and 66, Adrian Lester. Row 8 is number 70, Steve Everson, and 25, Martin Walker. Row 9 sees 54, the man we've just heard from, Barry Webb, line up alongside number 18, Richard Gilmore. Row 10 is 34, Sean Hurley, and 53, Paul Freeman. Row 11 is 55, Ben Mallock, and 87, Samantha Evans. Row 12 is 42, Pippa Tanner Wood, and 52, which is Roger Watton. Row 13 is 77, Gareth Salter, and 89, Brendan Hurd. Row 14 is 57, John Drinkwater, and 62, John Lambert. And on his own, on the back row of what will be the 15th row of the grid, is car number 40, which is Mike Upton. So that gives you the full grid for the cars that we'll see out there. Cody Tree having qualified on pole position in a time of 1 minute 54.954, 1 minute 54.954, and that is an average speed of 92.97 miles per hour. I'm delighted to say joining me in the commentary box is the chairman of the Clubmans Register, Mike Evans. Mike, thanks for joining me. Great to catch up with you again, and a race that will also see your daughter on the grid.
Yes, indeed. No, my daughter's out there. I think she's 22nd on the grid, something like that. So, yep, she's out in Class 2, so she's done well, considering it's the first time at Snetterton for her driving. She's been here many years watching and helping me, so she's out actually having the first exploits for us. She was out yesterday morning in the dry
test, yeah.
Yeah, and then the rain in the afternoon and evening. So yes, so she's seeing all the conditions. So now we'll see what happens in the race.
Cody Tree, it's fair to say, hasn't had the best of luck when he's appeared so far this season, whereas the man that lines up alongside him, Steve Dickens, has done a chunk of winning so far, hasn't he?
That's right. So this is a new car for Cody, and they've been developing and had quite a few problems with it, but the problems were still there on Friday, but they seem to have got them sorted. Obviously, he was flying in practice, so we'll see what happens in the race. Who knows? I
mean, these cars, we heard from Barry Webb just while the last few rows form up. Lots and lots of downforce in the cars, very slick body, so they are very quick cars.
Yeah, they are. They're superb cars to drive. I mean, the number of people that are on the grid who've gone off and done different series and everything like that. We've all had goes in different cars, and we've all come back to Clubmans because the cars are just so much fun to drive. They're so powerful. Really good, and they're about to start.
We are, yet. So 5-second board is held aloft. The red car is Cody Tree. The silver and blue one that sits alongside is Steve Dickens. When the lights go out, Steve Dickens gets the better start and has already rocketed his way past Cody Tree into the lead of the race. I think Clive Wood's going to go through as well. Yeah, it's a really poor start from the pole sitter Cody Tree, who's going to be down into something like 4th position, isn't he? Because Jared Wood went through as well.
That's right, 4th. So that'll be interesting. Now, we're on hand coupe tyres, and they take a few laps to come in. So you can either go quick at the start and maybe grain them, or you take it easy and then come strong at the end. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens.
We'll try and pick up on some of the inter-class battles and the class battles that are going on as well. I alluded to the different classes and the engine types as well, but already it is going to be Steve Dickens who is looking to try and make good his escape. He finished first in the first round of the season, but was on the top step of the podium in race 2 at Donington Park. And then they had a treble header at Silverstone, for which he finished second, first and second, and is looking to try and see whether he can close up in the overall championship standings. He leads class CSP1 in the standings, but he's sitting 4th overall if you look across all of the classes in the Clubmans category. But good start from him. Good recovery, though, after the poor start from Cody Tree.
Yes, yeah, I expect Cody to come strong. He's a young lad, lots of experience in karting, really quick, straight from the block, but let's see what happens. So.
Yeah, I mean, he started with you in, 2019, had a few troubles with the car, didn't do a great deal, if anything, in 2020.
Yeah, that's right. That's Michelle. She's Michelle Haywood there slowing down. She's the front runner in Class 2, so I don't know what's happened there, but she's pulled off. So, yes.
That's a shame. She was on pole in her class. She finished runner-up in that CSP2 championship last year, having claimed it back in 2018, didn't she?
That's right, yeah. So that's really opened that class up.
It really has opened that class up. For the lead of the race, though, Steve Dickens is already starting to feel the pressure from what looked like a poor start from Cody Tree. Remember, he was down into 4th at the first corner. Well, he's already back up into 2nd and pressurising for the lead, isn't he?
No, he is quick, and I'm sure there's a lot to come from these guys compared to the times in practice. Practice was only 15 minutes and a big grid of cars. Obviously, there's different classes, all the speed differential, so you can come across 6 or 7 cars easily on the lap, and it just depends where you find them. If you're through the corners and whatever, you can't overtake. So it's, the qualifying is one thing, but the race should show their true pace.
So the man who was runner-up in the class last year, Steve Dickens, from Toaster, continuing to lead the race. The young 24-year-old from Exeter sitting there in 2nd position at this stage. Gap back to 3rd place. It's Clive Wood. Huge amounts of experience for Clive Wood, both in sports cars and in single-seaters. Things like Formula 4 2000 over the years, as he sits there in 3rd position. And 4th at the moment is Jared Lester, who sits there in 4th position. Jared will also see his father on the grid as well. We're talking about yourself and Michelle. Well, that's a father and son team that are out there.
Indeed, but unfortunately Adrian had a problem in practice. He's got a gear selector problem, so I think they're hoping to be out for the second race, which will be tomorrow. But no, Adrian unfortunately isn't there. But no, again, it's great to see, and this is it. The cars are fun to drive. You put your offspring in them, and they suddenly, oh yeah, this is magic and whatever, and that's it. They're hooked as well. No, there you go, doing things with them and that, which is good, which is great fun. So it can be a bit nerve-wracking at times.
Nice family environment Clubmans has been for years and years and years. Now, Cody Tree gets a good exit coming out of Williams. He's going to sit in the slipstream here of Steve Dickens and might be able to squeeze his way through into the lead of the race. Steve Dickens will hug onto that left-hand side of the circuit, the right of your screens as you look at it. Cody Tree menacing around in the background, goes all the way around the outside at Brundle, gives him the inside for Nelson. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yep, no, that's it. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And Clive, obviously, in 3rd place. Now, Clive is generally takes it easy the first few laps. To say his car seems to scrub the tyres if he's not careful, so he'll take it easy and then he'll come strong. Now, whether he sees Cody starting to disappear up the road and really put the foot down.
So we'll have to see as to whether we do see Clive Wood start to close in a little bit more into the lead of the race. So it's the Phantom that picks up the lead of the race.
Right. And here we see Alan Cook, the Class A champion. So this is the Classic Clubman's A class. There, Alan's driving, so he's leading that class at the moment.
Yeah, so he'll be leading that class at the moment. You've also got, I suppose it's worth mentioning, Richard Gilmore, very much in his local circuit, isn't he?
Yeah, and Richard's, we haven't seen him for many years. He's been racing abroad, but Brexit, I'm afraid, has curtailed that, so he's back over here. And as you say, it's his local track here.
Yeah, very successful in Formula 1300 was Richard Gilmore, with 4 championships over the many years he's been racing.
Yeah, and here we see car number 14, David Whale. He's another front runner in the Class A, so the Classic Clubman's Class A. So this is David's first outing this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares. Yeah,
I did spot that he hadn't appeared in the championship scoring, so that sort of clarifies it. So he's always going to be playing catch up and not therefore really in for a shout of the championship, is he?
Yeah, indeed. And I'm afraid these guys are experienced racers who've got other chores, other hobbies, interests, and everything like that. And they come and go as they want. But obviously there's a key elements, probably 20 drivers doing the whole championship, and then we have other ones dipping in and out and everything like that. So here you now see the Class 2, the CSP2 place. You've got Matt from Morris Hart. So Matt is a new to us this year. This is only his 2nd meeting, and Matt won a prize organised by Alex Champion from VMEP Motorsport, and about driving simulator and everything like that. It's a competition. Everybody entered, did a lot of work on the simulator and everything like that. Matt was the champion, and he's already out there at the first round. He was leading the thing, and he missed the first meeting, unfortunately, because he couldn't do his ARDS test because of COVID. So he couldn't make the first meeting at Donington, but the second meeting at Silverstone, he was up there and giving Michelle a hard time for the class win.
And that's another one of the Phantoms on the grid, isn't it? Which was the company that Chris Greville-Smith and Richard Cresswell set up back in the 70s.
Alex Champion now runs that company, and Alex is it's his car. He's preparing it, and I say he's actually organised the prize fund.
And the Phantom was designed by...
Oh, hang on, it's got changed. So Steve's still in the lead, Clive 2nd, and Cody in 3rd place. We missed what happened then.
Must have made a mistake somewhere, mustn't he? Just have a quick look and see whether there's any sort of damage to the front bodywork. No, not at all, so there's no obvious damage. The difficult thing in these cars, they're so low the nose of them, if you do run wide, you're in danger of damaging the fiberglass, but
yes.
no obvious signs of that for Cody.
No, indeed. I don't know whether he's made a mistake or something happened and that. So I say this car, Cody's car, it's new. It's still being developed, and they've had a few teething problems with it and that. So, but I expect him to come on strong. So, but as I said, I knew it wouldn't be long before Clive's on Steve's tail. So this will be fascinating to see how this works out.
Yeah, Clive Wood pushing hard to see whether he might be able to take up the lead of the race. For the moment, though, the man who was the champion in CSP1 last year can't overhaul the driver that was runner-up in that particular class last year all of the time, whilst Cody Tree is beginning to close in on them. So I think we're going to be in for a fantastic three-car battle. Unbelievably, of the scheduled 15 minutes, we're not far away now from the halfway point of it. So just under 8 minutes of the race to go. They'll propel themselves down the Bentley Straight. What kind of terminal speed are they reaching down the bottom of the Bentley Straight, Mike?
Probably about 140 mile an hour, something like that. So they are phenomenally quick cars, and this is they're very much underrated. And when you go out on a track day or even the Birkett, along with other really powerful cars, and we sort of stay with them and then leave them through the corners, everybody comes, what's that car, what's in there, and everything like that. And when you tell them the front running cars are only 200 brake horsepower, but phenomenal speed, phenomenal grip. They're a real joy to drive.
It's a mixture of the aerodynamic grip, but also the Hankook tyre, very good tyre, slick tyre.
It's an excellent tyre. The front one is a little bit fragile. You've just got to be careful with it. It's like the Formula One. You've got to decide when you're going to push it and everything like that. So but fascinating. Again, here we've got the Class 2 dice between Matt and Morris. Oh, where's David Whale coming from? He's overshot coming from the side there. So something going on there. But yes, they are such fun cars to drive. Yeah,
fantastic squabble for the lead of the class as well, as Matthew Gauthier-Thornton still manages to hang on to the lead of CSP2 despite the pressure that's coming on from behind, as the number 76 car in the hands of Morris Hart tries to work his way through the man from Altrincham, but for the moment can't quite make it stick, can he? So he's just going to have to sit behind the London-based driver over the start-finish line. He's got the toe though this time, Jinx out from behind to the left-hand side, but that's the outside line for Ritchie's.
Let's see what happens up there. So, oh, he's got him. Yes, he's got the better of Matt. Now we've got interesting dice as well in Classic B class. So we've got we've got Martin Walker and Barry Webb. Now Barry, as you interviewed before, he's been around so long and so many years of experience, and he always gets the better of Martin. But Martin's ahead of him by a couple of places on the track, looking at the time and speed. So it'll be fascinating to see how that happens, whether Barry gets him towards the end. So, but there's so many class races going on, and this is it. It's always a case of trying to know what to look out for.
You mentioned sort of the classic Clubmans classes there. That's the pre-83 chassis cars. And if it's in A, it's running the 1700 Crossflow. If it's in B, it's a Formula Ford 1600.
Yes, that's right. So the Formula Ford 1600 engine is about 105 brake horsepower, where our Class 2 cars about 125, something like that. So it's about 20. So, and it's a lighter engine in Class 2. So we've got back marker there, but we're still. Oh, Clive's in the lead. Yeah, so Clive's overtaken.
Clive's in the lead. That was Gareth Salter, wasn't it? I think they just worked their way through. So Clive Wood picks up the lead of the race. He's also set the fastest lap we've had so far, 1 minute 54.479. That was last time through. This time as they come over the start-finish line. Now, are we going to see Steve Dickens pick up the toe? Looks as though they are. The key, I suppose, around here is trying to get cleanly off, particularly Murray's, and also as getting cleanly off Williams, as the stricken car of Gareth Salter crawls its way into the pit lane. Retirement for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gareth, this is his first time out for about 10 years.
Oh, no.
So this is it. So obviously, finding the shortcomings. On, look at this, the dice between Morris and Matt still going strong and everything like that. So that's a great dice.
It is, yeah, for the lead of Class CSP2 once more, and I think Matt might have made it back through. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, yes.
Oh, very brave. He just managed to sneak through before Coram, but Morris Hart was not giving up there and is still not going to give up. The good thing for Morris is now, good exit off there, sits in the slipstream, might get the place back again.
Yeah, no, it's a quick car and straight line. It looks like he got a good run out of it and that. So, oh no, whoa, he's just got in the lead. Whoa. So up to the first corner. This will be fascinating.
Let's have a look. Can Matthew come back at him again and try and squeeze his way through? Now just too far away. I noticed that Matthew has still got that red square with the black cross through the centre of it, so he's not done his first 6 race meetings yet.
No, as I say, this is his 4th race in his life and everything like that. He's done hundreds of hours on the simulator, I believe, and that. So it was amazing to see how he was so competitive, having only done it on the simulator.
Yeah, amazing the way he's just got to grips with the car, and it didn't appear at Donington Park, did he?
No, as I said, the first round, unfortunately, he had to do his hard, so he's pulling over. Something's happened to him. His hand went up, I think, and he's pulling off or slowing down. Yeah, that's a pity.
So this is the number 4 car, which is Steve Chaplin, his Phantom, the man from Buckinghamshire, under pressure. He's been a multiple runner-up in Class A over the years, but has never actually been the champion. Now coming under pressure from the number 14 car that sits behind, which is David Whale.
That's right, so that's fighting over 2nd and 3rd place in Classic Clubman's Class A, yes.
And there is Matthew Gauthier Thornton, hand aloft, and that sadly is going to spell the retirement for the Phantom. Now, he was trickling his way along the circuit. You can see him in the background of the shot there, where he's pulled off on the right-hand side on the run up towards Agostini. So hopefully that will be covered by localised yellows, and our fantastic marshals will give him a shove out of the way just to move him up towards the barriers a little bit more. We've got less than 3 minutes in this race to go. We are looking at the battle for 9th and 10th places currently. Both of these cars in exactly the same class, aren't they? Both running in the Classic Clubman's class, so class CSP3, but section A of that in reality.
That's like the A series, yes, and they're having a good old dice. So I'm just looking up the other. So in 4th place we've got Jared Lester. And
he's made it through. Yeah, David Wales made it through there. There wasn't a great deal of resistance put up by Steve Chaplin there.
No, I know Steve was bemoaning him after practice about the state of his tyres and whether they were started to go off, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of ground already, hasn't he? I don't think all is well potentially with the Phantom P79.
No, indeed. Okay, so there's Steve. Now where's Clive? I guess Clive is still.
Clive was still leading when they came over the start-finish line. There's Matthew Gauthier Thornton's car being pushed out of the way. London-based driver. Where's our race leader, number 50, Clive Wood?
So that's Mike Upton. He's a guy who raced many years ago, back racing this year for the first time out in a Classic B car. Yeah.
He's from my neck of the woods, really. He's about probably 45 minutes north of me, Barrow upon Humber, but he did a lot of racing in Scotland, didn't he, in the 80s and the 90s?
That's right, very experienced. So that's Clive off into the distance. We just saw, and then Steve following on behind, so going around Coram. So Clive's obviously pulling away here. Yeah,
so the Mark 23 Mallock of Clive Wood, leading the slightly newer Mark 29 in the hands of Steve Dickens. Clive qualified 3rd quickest. You did say he would come on strong towards the end of the race, and he's about to head over the start-finish line now to start what will be his final lap of the race. All looks good, doesn't it?
No, indeed. No, that's right. So now, and this is it. This is quite synonymous with Clive's driving. Steady to start off with, and then halfway through the race he really gets going and everything like that. I guess he's got the fastest lap. So 54.4. So I think that's quicker than.
It's quicker than he went in qualifying by about 1.2 seconds.
Yes, indeed, as I suspected. But Clive has raced for many, and Clive was at Silverstone many years ago, and he was talking about his time racing against Senna. He raced Formula 4 2000 against it, beat Senna, and Senna could not believe it came over to him. Wanted to know how come he was being beaten by Clive. It's absolutely a magical story to hear from him.
And he's still racing Formula 4 2000 now, isn't he? Albeit,
that's right.
The classic cars of 1983, the Van Diemens and things.
No, and he's out in Formula 2s, all sorts of cars and everything like that. So this is Martin Walker, you see here, car number 25, who's leading the Class B, so the Classic Clubman's Class B. So, and Barry's nowhere in sight. That's a rarity and everything like that. So I don't know what's happened there. But
that's one of the earlier Mallocs there, isn't it? That's a Mark 16.
Yes,
isn't it?
No, indeed. But Martin's working hard. He's another young lad. It's just great to see there's so much enthusiasm. They're really enjoying themselves. Supported by a couple of friends and everything like that. Really getting stuck in.
I was having a conversation early on with Adrian Lester, and I was just asking for the age range from the oldest driver to the youngest driver in Clubmans, and I think he said it was from 18 to 75. The oldest driver on the to
something
the youngest.
Like that. Yeah, Ian Mitchell's not here. I think Ian's in his 80s. I mean, this is it. We do have that, and we had James Clark a few years back, who was from the Junior Saloon Car Championship. I think he was 16 when he started racing in there. But there's Clive on his serene way.
He is, and he's only got a couple of quarters to go now, so he works his way round through Coram. As you can see, the clock has ticked to 0. Our race leader, number 50, Clive Wood, is about to head over the start-finish line, and this is going to be his 3rd overall victory in the season for the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship 2021. Wait the arrival of Clive Wood and the checkered flag. Win number 3 of the season. Excellent. That will move him closer to Steve Dickens in terms of the overall championship standings in CSP1. Yeah. Steve finishes in 2nd place.
And looks like we've got Jared Lester up into 3rd, so Cody's dropped back behind Jared. So Cody is fourth. So this is Jared. I just saw there the car going about. We now see Alan Cook.
That will be the Class A winner, won't it?
Yeah, when he comes across. So there's Cody and there's Pete Riching. So Pete will be fifth in Class 1. And then we've got Roger Watson and my daughter Samantha Evans fighting over whatever the position is in Class 2. So
it's going to be just outside of the top 20, I would have thought.
No,
that
I think she's 8th.
Is she?
17th and 18th overall, so I'm not sure what the class is, but good to see my daughter finish. That's good news.
Here comes the 7th place car. That will be the win in Class A, going away of that number 17 car. So well done to Alan Cook. He qualified on pole in that class and led it, I think, most of the way. Ian Crombie should be through to finish in 8th position. His will be the next of the cars over the start-finish line. Racing still going on towards the tail ends, though.
I see, indeed, just gone by and that. So, and then we should. Who's next? Steve Chaplin. What's happened to David? I'm going to say. Interesting. Well, here's Morris anyway. He's the Class 2 leader, so hopefully he's coming to take the flag.
Yeah, it's a hard-fought battle, wasn't it, in Class 2 before we had the retirement from Mathieu Gauthier-Thornton. So well-deserved to number 76, Maurice Hart, who claims the win in Class number 2, and that will be his first Class win of the season.
Indeed.
So well done.
Having been the champion last year, he's had his work cut out with Michelle and Matthew out there giving him a hard run for his money.
Both of them having problems has allowed him to claim that first class win.
Yeah.
So well done. Also well done to Alan Cook. That is another class win for him. That's something like his 5th class win of the season. So he's gone very well indeed. So let's just confirm the results. The win goes the way of number 50, Clive Wood. Second is number 7, which is Steve Dickens. And third is number 68, Jared Lester. Fourth goes the way of the pole sitter, number 71, Cody Tree. In 5th position is 47, Peter Richings. And Mike Yules completes the top 6, number 67 in 6th position. 7th place is the Class A winner of Classic Clubmans, which is Alan Cook. 8th place is number 65, Ian Crombie. 9th place goes the way of number 4, which will be the car in the hands of Steve Chaplin. And completing the top 10, it is the number 76 car, which won CSP2, the number 76 car in the hands of Maurice Hart. The other class winner just outside of the top 10 that it's worthwhile picking up on is the winner of Class B, the number 25 car, and that's the car of Martin Walker, who was the runner-up in that class last year as well. So first race done and dusted, Mike. That's all we'll see from you today, but you'll be back with us tomorrow for your 2 races?
That's right, we have 2 races tomorrow. I know that. I'm sure there's going to be lots of work going on in the paddock. It's hot out there. I know some of the drivers were saying about how hot it was going to be in the car and everything like that. So I think there's going to be a few repairs, and that's the beauty of Clubmans. Everybody muscles around, comes round, gets stuck in, helps out other people who've got problems, lends parts and everything like that. So it's a great series in that respect.
So there we go. Thanks to Mike Evans for joining us. We'll be hearing more from him throughout the course of tomorrow. But don't forget, we are streaming live tomorrow both of the Clubman Sports prototype races on Sunday here from Snetterton. The race is scheduled to get underway, the first of those tomorrow at 11:05 in the morning. So the stream will go live just before 11 o'clock. And their second race is scheduled to take place at 5:25 tomorrow evening. So again, the stream will go live about 10 minutes there or so before that. So that's all from the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship here at Snetterton today, but please make sure you join us for those 2 races tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye.